At 56, he sold the house. The truck went next. Then the whole garage, tool by tool. No pension waiting on the other end. Just his savings and a plan most people would call reckless. And here's the number that rebuilt his whole life in Cebu: $2,000 a month. Today, we walk his real story. What he sold, what he kept, and what it actually cost to start over. But there's one move he made that most people skip. It's the reason his story worked when so many others quietly don't. We'll name it before the end. First, the leap itself. Quick note before we start. This is a real man's path, pulled from what he documented himself. We tell it in the third person because we didn't live it, we just help people do it. His numbers are Cebu numbers. And his story is the same start plenty of Americans make here. Over the next few minutes, 3 things. The decision to sell it all. The budget that caught him on the other side. And the one safety line that separated him from the folks who fly home broke. Let's begin where he began, at the edge. Picture the moment, 56 years old, a decent job, a mortgage, and a quiet dread every Sunday night. He ran the math one more time. Working 9 more years to retire at home, or leaving now with what he had. He chose now. So he sold the house and cleared the debt. The truck and the tools went next. In the end, he kept 2 suitcases and a laptop. People called him crazy. His own family sat him down and worried out loud. But he'd done the one thing most people never do. He'd actually counted. Every dollar in, every dollar out, on a single page. He knew his number cold before he ever booked a flight. That's not recklessness. That's the exact opposite of it. Here's the mindset that carried him, and it's the part money can't buy. He landed knowing one hard truth. No one was coming to save him. No pension, no safety net, nothing familiar to fall back on. So he adjusted himself. He didn't expect Cebu to become America at a discount. Instead, he ate what the neighborhood ate. He rode the jeepney like everyone else, and picked up a few local words and a few local friends along the way. Slowly, the place stopped feeling foreign. The folks who struggle here almost always want the Philippines to bend to them. They fight the traffic, the heat, the paperwork every single day. He bent to it instead. He treated the differences as the price of admission, not an insult. That one shift is why he was still smiling a year later, long after the loud ones had flown home. So what did the landing actually cost? Less than his old car payment. He rented a clean 2-bedroom in a Cebu subdivision for around $400 a month. Gated, quiet, with reliable water. He furnished it slowly, secondhand, local, no rush. His food bill dropped like a stone. Market vegetables in the morning, fresh fish off the ice, lunch out for $1 or $2. He kept the aircon for nights and slept like a baby. Fast fiber internet ran about 1,500 pesos, call it $25. So he still video called the grandkids in crisp detail. A jeepney anywhere in town cost pennies. For the first time in decades, money came in slower than it went out, in the good direction. He wasn't surviving on $2,000 a month, not even close. He was genuinely comfortable, with room to spare. And those old Sunday night dreads just quietly disappeared. Let's break that $2,000 down, because the shape of it matters more than the size. Rent took about $400. Food, a couple hundred more, eating mostly the way locals eat. Power and internet, a modest slice on top. Then came the line most people quietly cut, and he refused to. A proper private health plan, a few thousand pesos a month, locked in and never touched, no matter how good he felt. He even had a woman come clean the place twice a week for a few dollars a visit. Add a little fun on top, a weekend at the beach, a nice dinner out, a trip to another island when the mood struck. And he still wasn't spending the whole $2,000. Every month, a chunk of it stayed in the bank. That leftover, month after month, quietly became the thing that saved his whole retirement. Hold on to that thought, because it's the heart of the story. So here's the question his story puts to you. Could your number do what his did? Not his $2,000, your real monthly figure, whatever it is. Test that figure against a current Cebu budget. Take the free quiz and get your Cebu Fit score right away. Enter your email for your best fit Cebu area, realistic budget, likely visa path, and first steps. Then get 7 short practical letters over 3 weeks. It's all free, and you can unsubscribe anytime. The link is below. Now the move that made all of it real, the safety line. He never landed with just barely enough. He landed with a real cushion behind him. Close to a full year of living costs, parked in savings and treated as untouchable, sitting on top of the monthly money. That buffer wasn't for fun, and it wasn't for flights home. It was for the day the roof leaks, the tooth that cracks at midnight, the month the peso jumps against the dollar. And it is the exact thing the people who fail almost always skip. They arrive with the rent covered and nothing at all behind it. One bad surprise, one slow month, and the whole dream folds overnight. He had arrived with a bad year already paid for in advance, so no single shock could ever end him. That's not luck, that's engineering. Not everything went smooth, and he'd be the first to admit it. His first apartment was a mistake, signed too fast, half sight unseen, too far from anything that mattered. He moved out after 4 months and ate the loss. He trusted one wrong handshake and lost a little money learning the lesson everyone here learns once. Some nights, he missed his grandkids so hard it ached, but none of it was fatal. The buffer absorbed the money mistakes without a scratch. The mindset absorbed all the rest. The people who quit usually hit the very same bumps he did. The bad lease, the wasted trust, the homesickness at midnight. They just hit them with no margin underneath and no willingness to bend. Same exact road, a very different pack on their back. So add up a full year of the new life. $24,000 a year was the budget, and plenty stayed unspent. Rent, food, power, help at home, real health coverage, and genuine fun stacked on top. Back in the States, that same $24,000 barely covered his rent and insurance alone, with nothing left for actually living. He wasn't just spending less money here. He was living more of a real life, on the same figure that used to feel like slowly drowning. And the cushion sitting behind him meant he never once lay awake doing panic math at 3 in the morning. That's what $2,000 a month really bought him in Cebu. Not a smaller life, a much bigger one, with the fear finally switched off. The useful way to copy this story is to copy the sequence, not the spending. Price your Cebu month. Add the landing month that never repeats. Protect a buffer that is not furniture money or vacation money. Then, name the life problem you expect Cebu to solve. If that last answer is vague, wait. A cheaper country can lower pressure, but it cannot choose your purpose for you. His reset held because the budget and the reason eventually supported each other. Yours has to do the same. So here's the verdict, and it's the whole lesson in one line. His story didn't work because he was brave. Brave is easy to fake for a week. It worked because he was covered. The number that rebuilt his life was never really the $2,000 a month. It was the year of expenses sitting quietly behind it, plus the health line he flatly refused to cut. That's the difference between the ones who make it and the ones who quietly fly home. The beaches don't change, neither do the prices or the easy warmth of the place. One group showed up with a margin and a plan. The other showed up with only hope and a suitcase. Cebu rewards the planner far more than it ever rewards the dreamer. Where that $2,000 life works best comes down to the neighborhood. Some Cebu areas stretch it, others burn through it. Compare rent, transport, hospital access, heat, and the errands that shape an ordinary week before choosing the street. Open the Cebu Living Map. The Philippines' hazard layers and 3 Cebu neighborhoods are free to explore. Full access covers all 31 areas for $39 once, with no subscription. The link is below. So that's what it really took. Not courage alone. A counted number, a real cushion, and the humility to adjust. He sold the house, the truck, and the garage, And he bought back something the old life had quietly taken: time, sun, and room to breathe. 2,000 a month did that in Cebu. But only because he built a floor under it first. The leap gets all the attention. The landing gear is what actually saves you. So be honest with us in the comments. Could you sell the house, the truck, all of it, at 56? Or is that the one line you'd never cross? Tell us exactly where your line sits and why. We read every single one. Because his story worked. But plenty don't. Nobody counts how many quietly fly home. Next time, we dig into exactly why and how to make sure you're not one of them. Real numbers, straight from the ground.